A teacher named John had reached the end of his rope and he decided that he was swimming against the tide, trying to get any response from his superiors and colleagues. He always felt that appreciation and acknowledgement was found in the corporate world, while in his teaching profession, he felt it was completely absent. He decided to try some other way of life that might give him appreciation and personal satisfaction. He was very disappointed to discover that a job was so hard to come by. In fact, he, he got to the point that he was prepared to take any job that came his way. In desperation, at last, he landed in a job at a local zoo. Unfortunately, when he went there, the job he would have wanted or loved as an accountant or as a sales and ticketing manager was sadly not available just yet. But the manager asked him to consider taking up a temporary position until another one was vacant. As it happened, the chimpanzee at the zoo died and had not yet been replaced. The chimpanzee was a great favorite with the children, and the cage could not be left empty for a very long time. They had a chimp suit, and the man was asked if he could mind getting in that suit and taking the place of the chimp. All he had to do was to roll around for a little while, eat some bananas, and rest. He decided to give it a go. He became an instant success. The children gathered around the cage. His every moment was greeted with cheers from the children. He soon discovered that he was now getting much attention and appreciation that he never ever got as a teacher in the school. One day, John began to really get into the act, hanging onto his chest, charging to the glass enclosure, eating bananas, and just having fun. The children too began enjoying the chimpanzee enclosure and clicking several selfies and photos. Eventually, the chimpanzee, with all the popularity, began to do a little more. He grabbed the rope and began swinging all the way across the enclosure, but unfortunately, he lost his grip and ended up flying all over the wall and landed in the lion's enclosure. As the lion approached towards him and forgetting that he was supposed to be a chimp, he began to scream, "Help! Help! Help!" The lion then gave a big roar, came close to the face of the chimp, and whispered sharply, saying, "Shut up, John." To that, John immediately, rather puzzled, said, "How do you know my name?" Right then, the lion slapped him across the face and said, "Shut up, man, or you will get us both fired. I am Tony, your principal at the school." Friends, Carl Cobain, an American singer and a songwriter, once said, "Wanting to be someone else is a waste of the person you are." Cobain's quote brings the concept of acceptance into new light. Not only is not accepting oneself harmful to our emotional and spiritual state, but it's also wasteful. In focusing on what we could be or what we want to be, we are essentially ignoring who we are and we are wasting ourselves. While most of us believe that the above quote is really true, yet it doesn't hurt to be reminded that wanting to be someone else, prettier, smarter, funnier, richer, happier, etc., is something we all engage in, but does not do the person we are any good. While we may be able to change certain things about ourselves, in essence, we are who we are. In not accepting who you are wasting yourself and, in fact, wasting your life. Not only does the yearning to be like another person cause stress, pain, and confusion, but it also allows the true self to exist in a state of laziness. Walter W. Bannard, an American abstract painter, once said, "When inspiration dies, imitation thrives." Friends, imitating other people is fruitless because you will never fully follow them, because their experiences are unique to them. You could never be me, and I could never be you. We are different in so many ways, and the fact is a beautiful thing. There is a difference between imitating someone and getting inspired by someone. Don't be awestruck by other people and try to copy them. Nobody can be you as efficiently and as effectively as you can. Trying to be like someone else is self-defeating. As long as you are trying to be someone else, the best you can ever be is always going to be number two. According to an article that appeared in the Harvard Business Review by Eric Bonavio, titled The Perils of Imitation Age, human nature doesn't change, but the social and technological process tends to amplify its effects. Imitation is a fundamental element of human nature, and the information age has cast up more than its share of paradoxes. When information is plentiful, we often use it not to make better decisions based on intrinsic characteristics of situation, but rather to imitate others and their mistakes. Of course, imitation has its virtues. It provides the basis for learning, advancing social cohesion, and is a natural mechanism of both inspiration and aspiration. But imitation also promotes instability and unpredictability. That is because imitation by definition is a multiplier and can swell a single opinion into a mass movement. Now, there are four principal drivers of imitation in man, and all of which are rooted to our evolutionary psychology. The first is safety. Following a well-known path through the woods may not make you a pioneer, but at least you won't become food for the wolves. Second driver of imitation is conformity. It is important not only to be safe, but also to be accepted by others. The third driver of imitation is belief that the other guy knows better. And finally, there is the fourth one, which is dangerous. It is greed. We imitate the other guy because we want what he has. We all model our lives after somebody. The difference is who and what do we choose to model. That decision changes everything. When you know who inspires you, you can identify the individual's components that makes them who they are and find the things to replicate in your own life and leadership. We should try to take inspiration from people around us, all important people who are living on this planet, but resist the temptation of imitating them. So, adapt, but don't adopt. In other words, choose those from whom you wish to learn, whether it's an overall system, a process, a skill set, etc. Then adopt their teachings, implement the instructions, learn it to the point that it actually becomes a part of you, but not actually you. Friends, to conclude, I would like to remind you that don't ever minimize your individuality, because the very word individual means you cannot be divided up.